Tripods aren't fun or inspiring. They're useful. They are, to riff actually on Italian Inspector Rocco Schiavone's worldview. Great show. Check it out on Amazon Prime or PBS. A second-level pain in the big, heavy, and expensive on the one hand, or on the other, small, light, less expensive, but not nearly as stable, and in either case, you have to schlep it. And then there's everything in between, when what we'd all rather be doing is shooting instead of spending time sifting through the alternatives and then regretting we didn't spend more money for the right tripod in the first place. But at least the British company Three-Legged Thing produces interesting tripods with even more interesting names, and in the case of their brand new Nikki, they have delivered their most ambitious carbon fiber tripod to date with a twist. Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and today I want to talk about Three-Legged Thing's Nikki. Think of it as a dual-purpose photo-video set of sticks, more photo than video, but with a novel in my experience, flat base that can be swapped out for an included 75mm bowl. This twist is what makes it a credible alternative in the age of mirrorless hybrids to more traditional, robust, and expensive dedicated video sticks like those from Cartoni and Sochler with their 75mm bowls, if not their 100mm bowl bigger brothers, when used with appropriate camera setups. The Nikki can work without swapping in the 75mm bowl, with their Airhead Cine A, for example, and almost kinda fluid head, flat base head for use with even the heaviest in class Panasonic Lumix S1H with, say, their 24-70 2.8, excellent combo, and a Ninja 5. Yet light and compact enough to pull double duty at the higher end of stills photography needs, as I recently discovered when I decided to see what I could do with a Harvest Moon, 47 megapixels, and Sigma's 100 to 400mm DGN f4.5 to 6.3 with 2x teleconverter mounted on my Leica SL2. Now, relatively big lenses like this are a third-level pain in the sufficiently front-heavy, never mind just plain heavy, that you can't really use one to shoot handheld. You can with Micro Four Thirds. Nor can you cheap out on a small, lightweight tripod perfectly adequate for, say, static interviews. These are the kinds of scenarios where compact tripods with ball heads, like Three-Legged Thing's own Brian, FLM's CP26, or my current favorite in that category from Peak Design, just won't cut it. This is when true fluid heads with counterbalancing and significantly higher payload capacities make more sense, and when a leveling base helps. Although, other than talking to you from here in the Batcave, we most often use tripods for on-location interviews. We like to travel light, and we use very small, light mirrorless hybrid cameras, at which point those smaller tripods are more than sufficient and, in fact, best for what we do. The irony is that I use our Cartoni here in the Batcave right now, for example, where I usually leave a front-heavy rigged-up GH5 or today an S5 with teleprompter in place for weeks or months on end. This is the kind of dependability I like, though it is overkill. As I implied a few moments ago, the Nikki, like dedicated video sticks from Cartoni, Sochler, Miller, and unlike the compact tripods I just mentioned, has no center column at all. The compact tripods achieve their maximum height at the expense of stability, though you can always firm them up by not extending the center column and by not extending the smallest tube diameter leg sections. Even without that center column, however, the Nikki can go higher than my Cartoni, significantly higher than its no center column little brother the J, and FLM's no center column, impressively small when folded up CP30 S42. In fact, I rate the CP30, I'm going to skip the S42, more stable than the Nikki, though that difference diminishes as well when they are set to the CP30 S42's lower maximum height. But I really like the extra height, especially when your camera is pointed up. Bending, craning, squatting, not my thing so much anymore, although It never was. What's also nice about the Nikki is that in addition to its other attributes, non-rotating legs, very grippable, very leverageable O-pad leg locks, which I really like, and the multi-option base, all three legs can be unscrewed and replaced with their Vans kit to turn it into a super stable tabletop or ground level tripod. Does the Nikki fold down as compactly as the Peak Design FLM CP26 or 30 S42 or the J or the Brian? No, not even close, especially compared to the Peak Design. But it is a lot smaller than a Cartoni or Sockler, and this is a big deal for us. Is it as stable as a Cartoni or Sockler? No, not close either, at least at maximum height. This is less of a big deal for us, as I mentioned earlier, unless we want dynamic camera movement or want to mount a slider. But the Nikki does sit somewhere in between those two ends, and it did allow me to shoot the moon and then crop the crap out of it, far more stable at the height that was comfortable for me than anything else I had in-house at a level of schlepping I was willing to tolerate at the time. At $750 for the sticks with two bases, the new Nikki isn't cheap, especially if you intend to use it only for photography. At that point, I'd say, don't. Instead, I'd urge you in this day and age to travel light enough so that you don't need more than the Peak Design travel tripod. I really like that. It fits into my 20-liter backpack. Or, if you do, look closely at the more robust $375 FLM CP30 S4 or Three-Legged Thing's own 430J with built-in leveling base and embrace the bend, the crane, or the squat. If you need or want maximum height for a lightweight camera with really no dynamic camera movement required, I'd look closely at the $270 Three-Legged Thing Brian or FLM's more robust but similar reverse closing configured CP26. I prefer both of them over the darlings of a couple of years back, the Manfrotto B-Free and the Mi Photo whatever it was. None of these, however, will be a great choice for video with smooth panning and or tilting. The Nikki is a bargain given its dual photo-video nature compared to the latest dedicated 75mm bowl video-only systems, even when you add in the cost of a true fluid head like, say, a $550 Sockler Ace XL, or surprisingly useful and much smaller and lighter, though not as smooth, Three-Legged Thing's $320 Airhead Cine A, or the bargain-priced Manfrotto 502A. I'd be quite comfortable placing a rigged-up hybrid atop the Nikki like the Panasonic GH5 S1H or Sony A7 S3 on the one hand, or a dedicated video cam like the Panasonic BGH1, Sony FX6, or Canon C70 on the other, with any of those heads. Less sanguine about doing so with, say, a Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4K or Sony FX9. At that point, yeah, I'd give serious attention to the Cartoni SDS and Sockler Flowtech sticks. But then you are talking twice the price or more, especially if you're contemplating Sockler's brand new Active Series heads, which do look really well thought out. In the end, the Nikki is a nicely balanced, nicely finished dual-use tripod for the mirrorless era, which Three-Legged Thing has infused with novel thinking, a bit of fun, and I think a fair price. I like it.